Chaturvanyam, the four divisions of human society. Maya, by me. Shrishtam, created. Guna, of quality. Karma, and work. Vibhagashaha, in terms of division. Tasya, of that. Kataram, the father. Api, although. Mam, me. Vidi, you may know. Akataram, as the non-doer. Afyayam, unchangeable. Okay, translation by His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada. According to the three modes of material nature and the work associated with them, the four divisions of human society are created by me. And although I am the creator of the system, you should know that I am yet the non-doer, being unchangeable. The Lord, purport, the Lord is the creator of everything. Everything is born of Him, everything is sustained by Him, and everything after annihilation rests in Him. He is therefore the creator of the four divisions of the social order, beginning with the intelligent class of man, technically called brahmanas due to their being situated in the mode of goodness. Next is the administrative class, technically called the kshatriyas, due to their being situated in the mode of passion. The mercantile men, called the vaishyas, are situated in the mixed modes of passion and ignorance, and the shudras, or laborer class, are situated in the ignorant mode of material nature. In spite of His creating the four divisions of human society, Lord Krishna does not belong to any of these divisions, because He is not one of the conditioned souls, a section of whom form human society. Human society is similar to any other animal society, but to elevate man from the animal status. The above-mentioned divisions are created by the Lord for the systematic development of Krishna consciousness. The tendency of a particular man toward work is determined by the modes of material nature which he has acquired. Such symptoms of life, according to the different modes of material nature, are described in the 18th chapter of this book. A person in Krishna consciousness, however, is above even the Brahmanas. Although Brahmanas by quality are supposed to know about Brahman, the Supreme Absolute Truth, most of them approach only the impersonal Brahman manifestation of Lord Krishna. But a man who transcends the limited knowledge of a Brahmana and reaches the knowledge of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Sri Krishna, becomes a person in Krishna consciousness, or in other words, a Vaishnava. Krishna consciousness includes knowledge of all different plenary expansions of Krishna, namely Rama, Nisimha, Varaha, etc. And as Krishna is transcendental to the system of the four divisions of human society, a person in Krishna consciousness is also transcendental to all divisions of human society, whether we consider the divisions of community, nation, or species. Makyanti mirandasya kyananjana shalakaya shakshu militam yena tasmai shri guruve namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadada Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Okay, so today is the appearance day of Lord Varaha, and the beautiful thing about that is that he is the uplifter of Dharma. And Dharma is kind of what is described here in this verse, the human Dharma of any society. However, very focused here on the four divisions that are created by Krishna himself, as he said. And at the same time, I think most of you have heard about this before, about these four divisions. Anyone hasn't heard about this before? Okay. So then I'm going to explain this briefly. So basically in the Bhagavad Gita, a model of society is explained that divides humans in like 4 different categories. It's kind of a little bit like 4 different personality types, you could say. One is the artist or craftsman or woman. Then you have the entrepreneur. You have the, you could say the warrior type, the person that really wants to fight for a good cause, fight for something, warrior mentality. And then you have like the intellectual person, kind of the teacher, professor, and so on and so forth. So society is divided by that. And at this particular time when the Gita was spoken, it appears that these people would kind of like stick together. They would form different communities. For example, Krishna was born in a Vaishya community. So they were mainly Vaishyas. Of course, they had a Brahman and everything, but mainly Vaishyas, as I understand. And then there was a community of Kshatriyas with the Pandavas, and then there were communities of Brahmins. So these were kind of those people that would stay together because they had the same inclinations and tendencies and desires and goals, so it makes a lot of sense. Even today, if you have the mindset of an entrepreneur, you would like to spend time with other entrepreneurs. If you're an artist, you like to hang out with artists. It makes a lot of sense, right? Because you would like to spend time with people that have a similar nature as you have. So that's the basic principle. Now, today we live in a time where obviously society isn't divided in that way. Everything is very mixed and everything is very different. So still this has relevance if we break it down to the very basic point of Dharma. Because although here Prabhupada describes sometimes maybe not in the most encouraging way the one is in terms of like a Shudra being in ignorance and a Brahman being in Sattva. At the same time in Bhagavatam we can see that any type needs to be in the mode of goodness. So before we speak about Dharma, and the Bhagavatam it said, first you have to become a good human being. Now what is a good human being? Like what makes a human being a good human being? And a good human being means someone that is actually going to help this planet in whatever capacity, through their art, through their offering, through their business, through their administrative skills. How does someone become a healthy human being? And because today is the day of Lord Varahadev, the form of God that uplifted the earth when the earth was fallen, this point of the earth is very important when it comes to Dharma. So one of the first symptoms of a person that lives their Dharma is that they're very connected to the earth. They are grounded. They are not somewhere up in the air in some bubble, whether it's a spiritual bubble or some other type of bubble. They're really connected to the earth. And you see why Prabhupada emphasized this so much, communities and natures, because he wanted people and devotees to connect to that element of the earth, of Mother Earth. The earth is also personified as Bhumi Devi, a goddess. So it's like the feminine Shakti, the feminine energy. This is also again so significant because healthy human beings are formed through the feminine energy of the mother. This is also in Bhagavad Gita. It's explained when women are not protected in a society, means they are not given the space to evolve, then a society goes down. Because when parents can't fulfill their role, and what is the role of a parent? To love their child. If a parent can't love their child, then the child will have different psychological conditionings, and these psychological conditionings will bring someone away from their Dharma. Like karma doesn't just manifest in things that happen to you, but on a very fundamental level, it's really the mind that you've been given in this life, the state of mind. Because, for example, a tragedy happens, or, for example, there are soldiers that are sent out, American soldiers, they're sent out to fight in war in Iraq. Many of them, they come back with heavy traumata, PTSD, they're mentally very ill, but not all of them. So why is that? Why can some people go and fight in a war and be not really impacted, while other people are very heavily impacted? And again, it's because of the mind that they are born with, and they also receive from their parents. Because the earth in a family constellation is represented by the mother figure. The son is the father. Mother is also moon. Now, if you want to live your Dharma, you first have to become healthy in your mind. If you don't have a healthy mind, then much of the Bhagavad Gita is actually completely beyond the capacity to realize, because you are not connecting to the very foundation of this human body. So we always speak about transcending the body, transcending the mind, transcending this, transcending that. But this doesn't mean that we bypass it. So there's a difference between bypassing and transcending. And one of the differences is, again, the connection to earth. Someone who's very grounded, very aware of their body, very aware of their mind, very aware of reality, is not going to bypass so easily. But someone that is not grounded, that accepts a philosophy, for example, without understanding it, without realizing it, without experiencing it, without practicing it, there quickly comes fanaticism. Fanaticism means that, for example, you believe only my religion is the only religion, my way is the only way. I can go even deeper, my service is the only service. I can go more and more and more into that mentality of basically I'm better than others. Fanaticism means I'm better, I'm chosen, and every religion has it somehow. Every religion had a time where they believed they were better than others. And they went to war and they killed others. And I don't have to tell you all the different things that happened in each religion. So, but the beauty of Hinduism, or the beauty of the East, of the Bhagavad Gita, is actually that it is saying, don't do that. Krishna literally says, when someone has a faith, leave them their faith and encourage them in their faith so they can see me in that faith. Krishna doesn't say go somewhere and convert people. I mean, I haven't read that verse. So when this fanaticism kicks in, because we're not grounded, we're not in our Dharma, we're going to create very strange ideas and concepts when we practice spiritual life. That has a lot of heavy consequences for the members of such a society, of such a community. Because the essence, the Dharma means also the essence of something, in the sense of the Dharma of a human being is, of course, to love, but then also to step into the nature. And the Dharma of spiritual life is also to love. So here we come to the next point, because there's a connection between safety, trust, and love. Okay? So if I don't feel safe, I cannot trust. If I cannot trust, how can I love? Therefore, again, Krishna emphasizes Bhagavad Gita so much, because it's meant to ground us. If you go in front of the altar and you don't trust Nishingadev, or you don't feel safe in the temple, how are you going to offer prayers? When Prahlad, who is sitting on the lap of Nishingadev, he had such strong faith, so strong that he could not be harmed. He could not be harmed because he so much believed in the protection of the Lord. So we don't offer prayers in the sense of, my dear Lord, if you exist, if you actually hear my prayer, then if you could. That's one way of praying, but if we pray with that trust, then the prayers have a different type of potency. How does that trust come? It comes again when we feel safe. Where does safety come from? Comes back to the point of the earth, of healthy family constellations. A child that grows up in a situation where the child doesn't feel safe, what are you doing if you don't feel safe? Let me ask you this question. What do you do if you don't feel safe? Right now, if you feel that there's a threat, what are you going to do?
Fight or flight.
Fight or flight? How would that look like? Run away? Fight back? Some people freeze. Have you ever seen like a deer? Sometimes you go into the forest and the deer freezes and just looks at you and then it runs away at some point. There's also something, I think it's the Stockholm syndrome, but I'm not fully sure. There is this concept in psychology that people that were abducted, that were taken hostage, they start to form a positive relationship with their abuser because they hope that it's another survival strategy. If I make friends with my abuser, then I will finally get free from this. That's why narcissists or abusive people, they're sometimes so hard to get rid of. Yeah? So there are different survival strategies. Obvious ones, fight, flight. There's a threat, I run away. There's a threat, I fight back. And when we are in that state, there's one symptom of someone who is in a survival state, something they experience intensely, and that is stress. So if you are constantly in a state of stress, that means you can't be in a state, like sometimes we might be stressed here and there, but if you're more in stress than not, then you're not doing your Dharma properly. So one of the symptoms of following your Dharma is that you're actually not in a state of constant pressure and stress, but you are in a creative state. So creative state means you're not just concerned about survival. Prabhupada often calls it eating, sleeping, mating, defending. So we're just like absorbed in what is in front of us. We're not in the spirit of creating something, thinking beyond. That manifests in various ways also in temples, when we're very self-absorbed, because we're in that survival mode. We don't have the creative capacity to reach out to serve. Okay, so we spoke about genuine Dharma means I'm grounded. I'm connected to the earth, means I'm present. I'm fully aware of my body, I'm fully aware of my mind. Transcending my body and mind doesn't mean that I'm not aware of it. A person that is transcendental, like Srila Prabhupada, they're very aware of their body, they're very aware of their mind, and therefore, because they have mastered their own body and mind, they are also very aware of other people's mind. You can read other people's mind to the extent that you have mastered your own mind. And master your mind doesn't mean that you, push it away, suppress it. It means that you transform it through bhakti, through love. That's actually how you control your mind. You transform it. Because the mind is, in one sense, like water. It can get different stage, different forms. It can take different colors. So it's about transforming the mind, not about pushing it away. So when we are in that grounded state and we feel that safety, we feel that trust, then from that love can actually really arise. It comes together. I feel trust, I give love, I receive love and trust. It goes together. These two things go very much together. Now, let's speak a little bit about also how we can live our Dharma. As I said, there's this psychological component that if we haven't received it in childhood, we kind of need to be aware of it and work a little on it. If we are very seriously chanting the holy name, as we are chanting, we will feel that different samskaras come up and get purified. If we don't do serious mantra meditation, we don't feel any effect at all. We're just gonna sit and say some words. But let's also speak something about how does Dharma look like, or finding your Varna. Because it's not something where you intellectually just try to understand, it's like this and this and this, therefore I'm an entrepreneur, or there are different reasons why I'm an artist. It is something that comes naturally from within. So therefore, the best way to approach Dharma is to go after that which naturally gives you joy, energy, creative energy and allows you to feel empowered. That is a symptom of one's Dharma. One is not constantly in the state of stress, suppression, negativity, but you're actually inspired, you're excited, you're enthusiastic, you have a vision. Dharma is very much connected to vision also. When someone is not in their Dharma, they're just in this, okay, when do I sleep? When do I eat? How do I have enough money to maintain myself? Do I have enough to pay the bills? This is like a person that is not in their Dharma. They're just stuck in that, daily hamster wheel. In Germany, you call Hamsterrad. So you're stuck in that. When someone is in Dharma, they develop a vision. For example, artists like Beethoven and Mozart, they had visions. They received these intuitions about their symphonies. They heard them within, and then they created them. This doesn't work if you're just in survival, if you're just taking care of the daily necessities. Similarly, a Kshatriya leader, especially a leader needs vision. The death of any company also is when you don't have a vision. As soon as the boss of a company just starts to go after the daily things that happening, oh, someone didn't pay, this happened here, my employee came 5 minutes late, oh, here's something wrong in the kitchen, company is dead. Because a leader needs a vision. Similarly, a Brahman also, the teacher needs a vision because he needs to understand because the Dharma of a Brahman is to make the knowledge relevant. So the Dharma of a teacher is not like I experienced it at university, someone comes and reads 50 slides and then after 2 hours, half of the class is asleep, some are awake if they're not playing on their phone. But the Dharma of a teacher is to make it relevant, to make what is written in the Shastras, to bring it out and to make it relevant. But that requires vision, the vision of who am I talking to, the vision of what is required. So Dharma means having a vision. If you don't have any vision for your life, then you're surely not in your Dharma. Even the Dharma of a parent, of a mother or father, you need to have some vision. You need to understand the nature of your child in spiritual life. You need a vision. Like, what am I actually doing here? Am I progressing? How is my meditation? Why is my meditation not getting deeper? It needs a vision. So this is another symptom of someone that is in their Dharma, that they have this particular vision. The other symptom of Dharma is that you actually start benefiting others. So an artist, it's kind of easy, they benefit others through their art. Their offering of art, they touch people's hearts. A musician, someone that paints a picture, or you hear symphony, different ways, or entertainment. Actors, they're also artists. So they share something with the world, they give something. Similarly, an entrepreneur, businessman, they also ideally do business that benefits the entire world. Unfortunately, today, many people just exploit the planet and people. The same with politicians that are supposed to be kshatriyas. Politicians are supposed to act not for their own sake, but for the sake of others. I'm not sure if you know any politician, no matter if you're left or right or middle. I haven't seen one. Someone that is actually genuinely concerned about the people that they are leading. I haven't found a single politician, at least in Germany, no matter where I look. Because most are concerned about themselves, elevating themselves, getting paid themselves, doing business on the side, because it's all about me, I, and mine. Very simple. And then, of course, we're all fighting about left and right and conservative and liberal and this and that, but in the end, it's mostly about me, I, and mine. So this is another symptom of Dharma. You're actually benefiting others and you're helping to uplift the earth. Therefore, Lord Varahadev is connected to Dharma because he uplifts the earth. So a symptom of you being in your Dharma is actually you are helping others. And whatever, in different ways, this can work. Another aspect of Dharma is the heart. Because Dharma means that the heart starts to open. Why? Because, see, the heart is very important because your mind is in the heart area. So your entire personality, all the different things that are to know about yourself, they're in your heart. So to the degree that your heart starts to open and you start to experience bhakti also, to that extent you also get in your dharma. Dharma is not something that is a mental thing, a concocted thing. It's a very real thing. And again, we come back to the point of safety and trust. If you don't feel safe, you will not be relaxed and still. If you read the Yoga Sutras, I can't quote it right now, but the second verse says, when the mind becomes still, and then the third text says, then the Svarup of the Atma, of the Self, is revealed. So when our mind, in the Bhagavad Gita, for one who has conquered the mind, the super soul, the Paramatma is already reached. So that means our mind, when our mind becomes calm, when it's not in survival mode, when it becomes calm, we start to perceive who we are. We start to perceive who God is in our heart. So God is here on the altar for us to form a loving relationship with Him. But God is also in our heart, literally, not symbolically, metaphorically, literally. Not just in our hearts, within everything. Therefore, Prahlad, who's sitting on the lap, he was challenged, where's your God? Where is He? Is He in that pillar? Yes, He is. And because Prahlad had so much faith, Nishingadev appeared from a pillar. So God is in everything. But we don't have that vision. Because we just see matter. If your third eye starts to open, you will actually see that matter is just moving energy. It's literally just moving energy. It's the tamagun in our consciousness that perceives matter as this real thing. Even science, quantum physics, if you study it, if you break it down to the smallest molecule, whatever it is, it's just vibrating energy. Therefore, the yogi, they can manipulate matter. They can manifest things, they can move things by the power of the mind because they perceive matter differently. They can heal the sick. How did Jesus Christ heal other people? Through the connection with God, of course, but on a more material level because there was this higher vision. If you have the higher vision, you can heal people. You can play with matter. That is not our goal, but it's another symptom of Dharma. The mind becomes still and you start to rise above matter. Rising above, again, doesn't mean you run away from it. It means that you see it for what it is. This is another thing that is nicely explained in the Yoga Sutras, that one symptom of Samadhi is that you start to see an object for what it is. Because right now I look at you, and each person that I see, I will have some interpretation. I will look at you and then, oh, he has this haircut, he has this dress, and then I start to form an opinion. It's definitely. If I would sit here now in a suit and a tie suddenly, many of you would start to have, hey, what's going on? What's happening? You'll start to form an opinion. If you meet any person in the street based on their gender, based on their appearance, based on the way they speak, you start to form some type of opinion. But yoga means you start to just see someone for who they are. You penetrate through the different layers of the mind and you see the core of someone. And this, we could say, is why Dharma on a human level, doing our purpose in life, discovering our calling in life, naturally leads us to spirituality and God. For example, Steve Jobs, very famous because he created this company Apple, he was in the Himalayas before. He was traveling, he was on a spiritual search, and even at the end of his life, I believe, he turned again more towards it because it's natural. Because what happens when you start to do your Dharma, you become happy, but still you will also understand, I've done what I really wanted to do, I've put my heart into this, but yet there's something still missing. There's something that is still not there. And then you naturally will start to turn towards spirituality, towards God. So it's supposed to happen at the same time. You do your Dharma and your Svardharma. You do your Sanatan Dharma. You do your Dharma as a human being, and you do your Dharma for God. It is all connected and together. It's not like you first do your Dharma and then you connect to God. Actually, it's connected right from the very beginning. In fact, Bhagavan, Krishna, Nishingadev, God, is the very person who can reveal your Dharma to you. Therefore, it is also something that is revealed inside the heart, and it's not something, oh, maybe I'm this, or maybe I should do that, or maybe, have you ever been in life like that? You started to wonder what I should do. Maybe I should live in a temple, maybe I should start a job, maybe I should go in a relationship, maybe I should have a child, It's like, the energy is like that. But Dharma means that there is a clarity that comes from within. And that is not so easily shaken. For example, the inventor, I forgot the inventor of the light bulb. Thomas Edison. So he, I think 3,000 attempts or so. Why? Because he knew from within, through the Paramatma, this is your Dharma. Do this, do this. So he kept going. What if he would have stopped after 2,000 attempts? So another symptom of Dharma is you develop a relentless, you develop such a strong determination, no matter what you're going to do it. We see this in Srila Prabhupada's life. He went to America with 40 rupees, nothing at all. He went to America. Why? Because he had the strong faith. And he had a vision. Because he was sitting I'm not sure if it was a park in New York, but he was sitting on this park bench and someone came and told him, I've opened so many temples. I've done this and this, but he hadn't done it yet. But he already saw it. For him, it was real. So when we have a vision that feels so real, like it's already there, then you become unshakable in your determination. And therefore, most of the great personalities in this life that walk towards the light, not people that went for darkness, they really embraced their Dharma, their role that they had to play. And that gave them a very strong determination. And we need that. So doing your Dharma doesn't mean that nothing will happen, that there will be no obstacles, that everything will go well. But you will have this inner call and determination that no matter what, this is what I meant to do. And you will find this again and again and again. Many artists will say that they had nothing. Or actors, they had nothing, but they had this vision and they kept going for it. Entrepreneurs, so many of them, they came from nothing, but they had that vision and they went for that. So many saints and sadhus, they had nothing. Like Prabhupada, he had nothing, but he had that vision and he went for it because he had this inner calling. Now for a devotee, for a spiritual person, again, the human Dharma and the spiritual Dharma, they are very, very much connected. They are not separate from each other. So it's not like I do my part in the material world and then I go to the temple and then I meditate and I hide away from this world. It's not like that actually. It goes together. Therefore, in the Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna is there and he doesn't want to fight and Krishna says, no, you have to fight. If you fight and kill, it is not good because you kill others. If you leave the battlefield, it's not good because you perform your duty. So what's the solution? Do it out of love for me. That is Krishna's message. Do it out of love for me. That's the only way how you can do your Dharma properly. So therefore, the final key of Dharma is that we do it as a way of building our relationship with God, as our way of coming closer to God. And coming closer to God is very individual and unique because every single person has a very unique and individual relationship with God. So, again, it doesn't mean that you hide away in a temple, or it may mean that you live in a temple as a monk. It can mean so many different things, but for many it means that they are part of society, but they start to see God in everything. They start to see God in whatever they do and whatever they offer. That's the key that Krishna says, gives so many things in the Gita. And in the end he says, and this is very interesting, I hope that it doesn't confuse you, but in the end he says, Sava Dharman Parityaja. Give up all varieties of Dharma. Not Adharma, of Dharma. Give everything up. Just forget about everything I just spoke. Just give your heart to me. Just love me. Just surrender to me. That's it. So what does this mean? It means that our Dharma is only can only fully be empowered if we also connect to God. Only if we connect to Krishna, if we connect to God, then are we going to be able to really step into our Dharma. That's kind of like the little secret of the Bhagavad Gita, that it's all about doing your Dharma, about becoming a good human being, but at the same time in alignment with God. That's really what is important. Yeah. And of course, the greatest insights of how you can discover your purpose, your unique role in this life, is through prayers. So when there's a genuine call from the heart, a genuine call for God, God will always answer our prayers. Just not in the way we expect it from our mind. God answers our prayers in our heart. So if you are disconnected from your heart, if you're not aware of your heart, if you're not even sure if you have a heart, then it's a problem. So when we are in a temple environment and there are like a million rules that we can or should or supposed to follow, they never, and therefore Krishna says in the end, Sava Dhamman Parityaja, never compromise this principle of the heart, of surrendering to God. That's always the highest principle. There is no point in following all types of rules when you are in the end miserable, you don't have a relationship with God, and you're not serving anyone. So this is very, very important that when we are in the temple, when we practice any type of spirituality, it has to awaken the heart. And this belief is very dangerous that I'm just going to do my penance here, I'm just going to meditate, I'm just going to serve and do things, and one day I will wake up with enlightened states of consciousness and pure love, or my favorite one, when I'm dead, then I will be with Krishna in the spiritual world. I didn't experience Krishna in this life, I didn't have his darshan in this life, I don't have a relationship in my heart, but when I'm dead, then Prabhupada is going to make like this, and then I will be in the spiritual world with Krishna. No. Then why do anything? Why not just, okay, go to the temple, please forgive me my sins, and then anyway, in the end of the life, I go back. It's not like that. It's really not like that. It's really not like that. So spiritual awakening has to happen in this life, and you don't have to be like pure enlightened to have spiritual experiences. The Gita is meant to open doors for spiritual experiences. This stuff has to become real, a genuine experience in the heart. Because if it doesn't, then you're going to become a cult member. Because then you're going to concoct different ideas, then you're going to become fanatic, and all kinds of different things are going to happen. But when there's a genuine awakening of love in your heart, then you will have respect for all other people, for other religions. You will have genuine compassion. Then you can actually have compassion. If you don't experience something higher in your heart, if you don't experience a higher joy in your heart, then what do you want to give to others? Read the Bhagavad Gita and join me in becoming miserable. No. You have to have something higher in your heart. Otherwise, how can it be compassion? You can have compassion for someone, genuine compassion, if you actually experience some of that love, some of that bhakti. Then when you see others, you'll see, oh, I feel sorry for them because they don't experience that joy in their heart. And then if you approach someone, they will look in your eyes and they will say, what is it with this person? This person has something special. I don't know what it is, but I want some of that. It will happen very naturally then, the sharing. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, that was his movement of sharing the holy name, sharing this vibration of love with others. Very naturally happened. But if we don't experience something in our heart, if we are in a state of survival, of stress, of misery, or if we just come here like a ritual, mechanically, then we miss out. We miss out on this amazing opportunity. Then we really just look at this and think it's matter We look in the sky and we think we're surrounded by rocks. Well, don't see. We don't have the higher vision. We go in front of the altar, we just see a statue. And that's how Krishna will reciprocate. God says, I will reciprocate with you according to how you approach me. Therefore, some people, they go on the altar, they have mystical experiences. I've known many people that they went to the altar and the deity started to move. The deity started to speak. The deity gave them something. Why? Because they had that faith in their heart. If you don't have faith, you'll just go there. You just see a statue. Still, it's nice, the Lord sees you, but the Lord is equally present in your heart as well. So it requires that faith, that trust, that conviction, and that only comes through spiritual experiences. If you don't experience the Bhagavad Gita, if you don't experience that you are the Atma, if you don't experience that God is in my heart, if you don't experience that you experience bliss while chanting the divine names, then very difficult to develop faith and conviction. So as much as we study, the study is not meant to create boxes. The study is meant to encourage us to actually want to experience that. So I'll just open if there's any question before the arti starts. Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah.
Movement. And how would you classify the Harinam, the book distribution? What is the purpose then, if it is not missionary?
I don't think I said it's not missionary. I spoke more about that whatever you want to share with others, you want to earnestly strive to and pray and really pray that you actually experience this. So that means when you go out, for example, on Harinam, the Harinam is as potent as to the extent of what the chanters experience in their heart. So if I chant the holy name and I experience something high in my heart, the vibration will go out and penetrate the chitta of the other person, and they get an experience of that too. But if I just go out with that mental idea, I'm here out to convert people to my faith, I don't believe that this was Prabhupada's desire. Prabhupada was very respectful of other traditions and religions, and it's about awakening that bhakti inside someone. So that's the point I was trying to make, that it's not just a brainless mechanical thing, but that's a genuine experience of the heart, and that's the essence that we want to give. Okay. You also wanted to ask?
I wanted to ask, how can we connect to our heart?
Yeah, so the connection to the heart, there are two ways in one sense. One is the way of grace. It's just given by Krishna. So you pray for that and it happens. In one sense, it's only through grace that the heart can really open. Like we can endeavor, like anything we do in spiritual life, we endeavor to show Krishna that we actually want him. And then he blesses us and then the heart opens. But on a very human level, the heart opening happens when we first of all are very grounded in our body, like we're very aware, and we meditate on the area of our heart. We start with the physical organ, the pumping of blood, and then we go deeper and deeper. But the heart is very much connected to feelings also. So many of us, we suppress our feelings. We don't want to feel. We want to function, we don't want to feel. In fact, this happened during the Industrial Revolution and the Age of Enlightenment. That was the age of reasoning. At that time, people were saying, okay, all religions are nuts, everything, they all have gone crazy. Let's reject all of that. The highest thing is the intellect, logic, and reasoning. And this is still so much present today. people value reason beyond anything else. That's their holy grail, reasoning. And now artificial intelligence comes, yeah, more reasoning, more algorithm, more logic. But what is happening in society? People are more depressed, people are more unhappy. Why? Because the art of the heart is not taught anymore. To open the heart, to hear the voice of God in the heart, to feel that natural intuition. So the way to open the heart is by becoming more aware of our feeling. Because, see, feeling is not just, feeling is coming from the soul. It comes from the mind, but the very capacity to feel comes from the soul. If you don't have a soul, you cannot feel and you cannot be self-aware. That's the difference between us and artificial intelligence. So therefore, if you want to open your heart, you need to start to feel what's in your heart. Otherwise, how can you chant the holy name? If you don't feel on a human level, how can you feel on a spiritual level? This is such a big misconception that we shut down our mind, we don't feel, we just put it away, and then one day, boom, prem is in our heart. It doesn't work like that. I mean, there's no evidence in Shastra for that. It's like you become aware, you become sensitive to your heart and to what's in your heart, and then you pray. Really prayers. It's genuine prayers from the heart. Not forceful prayers, but my Lord, I really want to experience you in my heart, and with that conviction. But you could speak 10 hours about that. In one sense, that's the goal of bhakti, to open the heart. That's why we do what we do. So all these shells break, and the Atma and Paramatma are reunited in that loving relationship. Is there, yeah, it's okay.
Thank you.
Is there any other question? Okay. So now as the darshan opens, let's try to pray sincerely from the heart that the Lord doesn't just become visible on the altar, but also on the altar in our heart. Jai.
Sì, sì.